So I was alerted that there is a new Etsy scam, and well, I wanted to make sure that you are aware of it. So if you see this, you are not going to fall for this new Etsy scam. And I'm going to have Chris Schaefer weigh in on this as well. So Chris, this is something that was posted inside of a Facebook group, and I am going to read it, and then we are going to dig in. Here it is, by an anonymous member. Anyone else got a message like this? When following the link of the QR code, they say Etsy is implementing new payment methods and I need to fill in my bank card details and state the current exact amount in my bank account. I went back to my app to check the message in the box and it was empty. Might be a new scam. Yeah, I'd say so. The first red flag is this, all right? And this is for anyone that is seeing a message or ever being asked for this type of information. Fill in your bank card details and state the current exact amount in my bank account. Chris, why would that be a red flag?
One, because Etsy already knows the balance of your bank account that's attached to your Etsy account. The first thing they have you do, Scott, when you're creating an Etsy account is connect your bank account through Plaid, which has API access to your bank account. So they already know what's in your bank account. And also, they don't really need to know what's in your bank account. There's no reason they would need to know how much money you have, right? So if they absolutely needed that for whatever reason, they could probably get it through the Plaid API. But they don't need you to fill in a form. They don't need any of these additional things. And there's actually a variation of this without the QR code, where they're just saying, hey, send us your email address in this chat and we'll email you the information. They then send the same email that the person was getting on this landing page that says, hey, you need to update your information. You need to tell us exactly how much is in your bank account. There's no reason they need additional banking information. And if they did, it would come officially from Etsy. You'd probably hear us talking about a new policy change where you need to go in and do these things. If you get a random email like this, one, do not scan a QR code that shows up in your Etsy inbox. Ever. Etsy would not be sending a QR code. That would just be crazy of them when they could put a link in the email, right? Like they would be messaging you with a direct link. Two, if they're asking you for information that they already have, they probably don't need it, right? So if it's information you know they already have, like your bank account information, like your social security, be extremely skeptical of those things. But the very first thing, Scott, that stands out to me there is just they're going to temporarily suspend your account until the verification process is completed. Do you know what they would have done before they sent that message? If that's coming from Etsy,
they would have
suspended your account.
Yeah,
like, they don't tell you they're going to suspend your account unless you do something. They go, hey, we need this information. And you guys may have heard me tell the story about how this happened with Amazon recently, right? They said, hey, you didn't fill out this one thing, even though it turns out that I did, right? If it's a legal requirement, if it's something they're requiring you to have to create the account and that information isn't there, they suspend you so that you don't put them in problem. They're not going to send you an email and say, hey, scan this QR code and go God knows where, right? This is something people are doing. There's a few variations of this floating around right now. Please do not scan this. Do not click on any links that tell you you have to fill out information you've already given to Etsy. Even if it looks like it's coming from them, there's a very small chance that it is. And if they actually needed something, they would have suspended you before they sent you a thing saying, we're going to suspend you until you fill this out, even though you haven't filled it out.
Let me just go ahead and briefly run through this, though. I just want to read some of the verbiage. Dear seller, Etsy is implementing an enhanced verification process to ensure security. As a result, sales in your store have been temporarily suspended until the verification process is complete. To restore the operation of your store and receive new orders, please follow the instructions. 1, scan the QR code using your phone's camera or take a screenshot and go into the photos. 2, click on the QR code and follow the link with instructions. If you are unable to scan the QR code, please provide your email address, check the spam folder, hence spam message. As soon as the verification is complete, your Etsy store will resume operations immediately. We appreciate your attention, Etsy. So listen, this here is a scam. And I think really the important part here is where it said in the message, also, it basically had said, fill in your bank card details. So when you would go here and scan that code, that's when it's going to say, hey, fill in your bank card details and state the current exact amount in the bank account. I don't know anybody that's ever for verification has ever asked for the balance inside of your account. Who has ever done that?
So you know how sometimes, Scott, you'll register like a credit card with a new service and they'll say, we're going to send a temporary transaction. We need you to tell us how much that transaction was. It's usually like 3 to 5 cents. That's where you would see that. They're never like, tell us exactly how much is in your account before we tell you what our pricing is, right?
Crazy.
Which is probably something we should implement. I think that's our new pricing strategy. How much do you have? Oh my God, it's exactly that amount. Who knew?
Crazy.
Right? And so it's one of those things where like, it's easy to get caught up in this if you're not super tech savvy. And there's a few places people could see this showing up. It could show up in your email, in which case you can check the email address. If it's showing up in your Etsy messages, the fact that you are logged into your account and there's not giant banners everywhere telling you that your account is suspended should probably let you know that this is a scam, even if it doesn't show up in the spam or junk folder in your Etsy messages and it somehow makes its way to your inbox. If they're telling you that your account is suspended and you seem to be able to do everything just fine, go ahead and ignore that message. And if it was truly a problem, Etsy will let you know by actually suspending the account and letting you remedy the situation at that point. Don't follow these links. Do not scan a QR code. Etsy has no reason to ever send you a QR code. They would send you a link or they would tell you to go into your dashboard and click on the settings button or whatever the thing is that they need you to update. They're not going to send you externally. They're going to point you in the direction where you need to add the information and let you go from there.